almost 40 years, LSU sat in the dugout as team after team made their way to the pinnacle of college baseball, the College World Series. For 4 decades, LSU waited. Then came 1986, LSU finally clawing its way to Rosenblatt Stadium for the first time, finishing 5th that year.
Tigers!
LSU was on the way to the top. After 4 more trips to the College World Series, the Purple and Gold claimed its first national title in 1991, the start of a dynasty.
We really appreciate everything that you've done.
They were back to Omaha and earning national titles in 1993, 96, 97, and their 5th national title in 2000. But then the wait began again until 2009. A new team, a new coach, but the same vision, a national championship.
The goal is to return LSU to the pinnacle position in college baseball.
The Tigers return and reclaim their title as the Kings of Omaha.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to our 9 Sports Special Kings of Omaha, a tribute to the LSU Tigers' 2009 National Championship at the College World Series. I'm Steve Schneider, inviting you to spend the next hour with us, reliving the special season that ended with Tiger fans celebrating the school's 6th national title in baseball at the brand new Alex Box Stadium.
And now entering the field with the 2009 National Championship Trophy.
Writers in Hollywood couldn't have come up with a more compelling way to cap the inaugural season in the new $35 million mecca for college baseball. And during the course of the show, we will bring in some of the heroes of the past who built this program and its fan base, leaving a legacy unrivaled in the modern era of the college game. To trace the remarkable return to power, you have to go back only 3 years this week. It's fascinating now to see the architect of LSU's dynasty, Skip Bertman, introducing Paul Mainieri as his choice to lead the Tigers, ensuring they would resume their reign. One of Mainieri's former LSU teammates and closest friends says just an hour before Skip Bertman presented the purple cap and #1 jersey, Mainieri was still wavering in making this big step, taking over a baseball program he compares to football at Notre Dame, where he spent the last 12 seasons.
It's a new challenge. It's something that I haven't done, haven't had the opportunity to do, and that is have the resources and all the pieces in place to become the top team in the country. And make no mistake about it, that's the goal. The goal is to return LSU to the pinnacle position in college baseball. And if we don't do it, it's not going to be because of a lack of effort, I can assure you. I can't wait to go into a living room and talk to people about coming to LSU.
Mainieri is also anxious to meet the players already here, promising to work them hard and challenge them academically. Bertman says that in addition to packing the stadium and winning at Notre Dame, Mainieri graduated a perfect 71 of 71 players who've been through his Fighting Irish program.
He turned down the job, I'll tell you, at Georgia, but he turned down 4 other high-profile jobs. All right, he's been sought after all this time. He's one of the best coaches in America. He did it with 9 scholarships when the rest had 11-7. He did it, freezing weather with the players with ears turned blue.
WAFB's Aaron Cofield and Jacques Doucet join us now from Alex Box Stadium with more on Mainieri and his team's incredible rise to the top.
Thanks, Steve. LSU head coach Paul Mainieri has said many times that making that decision to leave Notre Dame would be one of the hardest decisions he'd made in his life. For him and his wife Karen, they'd be leaving that program he'd built up, and they'd be leaving kids behind at Notre Dame. Now that said, since he came, he said that one of the overriding factors was that he did not want to later look back and have that be a decision he'd forever regret.
That's right. This beautiful LSU locker room, along with the fantastic new Alex Box Stadium, was not built yet. Mainieri knew it was coming. However, the program Mainieri inherited at the time was not in great shape. The Tigers had just missed the NCAA tournament for the first time in roughly 20 years.
The LSU program that once intimidated opponents was a shadow of its former self. During Smoke LaBelle's last season, pockets of empty seats were sprouting like wildflowers. There were some talented players left behind,
But top to bottom, the roster was hardly stacked with future Major League talent.
I'm telling you, I never worked so hard in my life as I did that first year. When we came out of fall practice, I thought we were going to go about 15-40.
Call it a minor miracle, but somehow the Tigers nearly doubled that number, finishing 29-26. They won 4 series against top 25 competition. But really, the season wasn't much fun for anyone involved.
Oh, man.
If he bunts, go get the ball and you cover first. How many times have I said that this year? If a guy push bunts, the sec play it like a sack.
It was a very difficult time with inner turmoil.
Because you're going in and you're trying to implement a new philosophy, and kids aren't used to that philosophy.
A few LSU players were comfortable with mediocrity, including several, quote, big-name guys. You've probably already forgotten who they were.
The sad thing about it is that I got this reputation that I was running kids off or I didn't want kids around. Listen, I gave every kid a chance to come on board. And we had 20 kids from that first team that were on the second team. You had Mike Hollander, you had Jared Bradford, you had all these wonderful kids.
Maneri's first club hit a downright wimpy 40 home runs. However, a major power surge was on its way.
We were recruiting like crazy. And Terry Rooney was the recruiting coordinator. He missed several games so that he could be on the road. We brought in a great group of kids, not only talented, but kids that cared about the right things. And DJ LeMahieu, Micah Gibbs, Matt Clark.
With fresh bullets in the gun, hopes were high for Maneri's sophomore campaign. So high, the coach had the audacity to say this.
It wouldn't surprise me if we end up in Omaha, Nebraska.
That prediction appeared to be way off the mark more than halfway through the 2008 season. LSU was better, yes, but hardly great. A sickening 0-2-1 series against Georgia left the Tigers second to last in the entire SEC standings.
And everybody thought the season was in the drain. And then we go to Tulane on a Tuesday night, and DJ LeMahieu gets a big hit in the top of the 8th inning.
Bullpen.
And we have this wonderful 8-4 victory against Tulane. And after the game, I group the team together and I tell them, boys, this is what we're capable of doing.
We may never see it again in our lifetime. A 23-game winning streak through the heart of the SEC schedule, well into the NCAA tournament. LSU ousting UC Irvine and returning to the College World Series. The Tigers tasting success, pulling off an incredible 9th-inning rally to down Rice. But national championship dreams were left unfulfilled.
When I look at this year, we had a lot of guys back. We opened up a brand new stadium. We were under the microscope right from the first day. The expectations were sky high.
Another stellar freshman class was added to an already loaded arsenal. 40 games into the year, LSU had won 70% of them. Still, something wasn't right.
So I made this big decision to insert Austin Nola, freshman shortstop, and move an All-American shortstop to second base and move an All-American second baseman to the outfield and take out a kid, Leon Landry, who had been a very integral part of our team the year before. I'm sure a lot of people in this town thought I was crazy.
The Tigers would win the SEC regular season championship, then the conference tournament for the second straight year. They enjoyed winning an NCAA regional and then a super regional in the first postseason baseball ever played at New LSU Stadium. It was off to Omaha again. This time around, LSU crushed the opposition on their way to the National Championship Series. DJ LeMahieu's ultra-clutch hit in Game 1 versus Texas was perhaps the biggest play of the postseason. Texas would win Game 2 to knot the score, but there was no stopping LSU in the third and final chapter. Longhorn, it's what's for dinner. LSU, national champions.
The best thing about winning this national championship is the happiness that it brought to everybody. The people of Louisiana, the people of LSU, my coaches, my players, the calls and the emails and the text messages that I've been receiving from people I hadn't heard from in 20 and 25 years. This is the greatest thing about this, is the people that felt a part of it because they've been a part of my life. For me, that's the greatest thing.
All right, coming up later in the show, we'll visit with Coach Maneri again as he talks about the person he was most happy to win this championship for, his father, Demi.
That's right, everybody, so sit back and get comfortable. Before then, we will hear from those LSU seniors and the football-playing baseball Tigers.
But before that, Lewis Coleman, a pitcher who was knocked around his first 2 years at LSU before becoming a star and an All-American.
The original Alec Box Stadium was home of the LSU Fighting Tigers from 1938 to 2008. After playing in the shadows of Tiger Stadium for 70 years, LSU played their inaugural season of the new Alec Box this season. The new stadium, just a few hundred feet down the road, has more room and state-of-the-art equipment. WAFB's 9 Sports Special Kings of Omaha. We'll be right back.
That's what a great ball club does, is they find a way to get it done in the end.
When he decided he was going to come back, I said, Lewis, it's going to make all the difference in the world with our team. It's the final piece of the puzzle for this next year's team. We're going to go back to Omaha because of you.
Welcome back to our 9 Sports Special, the Kings of Omaha. And sitting to my right is Mr. Lewis Coleman, the team MVP, numerous All-American teams this year. Congratulations.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Well, the year for you was an outstanding one. The first game against Texas, there were a few home runs that were hit out, but you came back, bounced back, and got that final out to win the whole thing. How'd that feel?
It was unbelievable. You know, when you're 6 years old, you know, you're watching, you know, kids play in Omaha, and you're growing up, and that's all you want to do is go to Omaha. And then when you get to Omaha, all you want to do is win it. Just being there, being able to be the last out as a senior, my last hoorah, you know, give something back to the fans and win a national championship is something I'll never forget.
After being a high draft pick last year, you made the pledge to come back. Was the Grand Slam against North Carolina the year before, was that the ultimate motivation to come back and do it right this time?
I had a lot to do with it, but I think it's just the guys in the locker room, you know, my best friends in the world, how close I was to them, and I wasn't ready to leave them. And at the same time, you know, there's nowhere better to play than LSU, and the fans are great, and you know, I wasn't ready to leave that. But at the same time, I had that in the back of my head. I said I needed a little redemption to get back to Omaha.
And finally, a kid from Slaughter, Mississippi, getting that final out. Doug Thompson, also from Mississippi. You threw the glove up in the air. People said he did the Doug Thompson, but that was just, you probably don't even remember it happening.
I told Gibby right before we went out there for the 9th, I said, you got to come get me so I don't get hurt in the bottom of this pile. I said, but come tackle me. And the rest of it was off adrenaline and excitement and pure joy that I was there and be able to get the last out in Omaha.
And you were always good to the media. You always said, yes, sir, no, sir, when you answered questions.
It's a Mississippi thing, too.
All right. Good country boy. Lewis Coleman, best of luck to you in your future career. And what a job he did here for the LSU Tigers and their national championship team. We throw it back to the studio and Steve Schneider with some former Tiger greats who were pretty legendary themselves.
Thanks, Jacques. I think most Tiger fans, when they saw Lewis Coleman celebrate the championship with that final out and the flinging of the glove, they thought of a former Tiger who did much the same thing, and we're lucky enough to have him here in the studio. Doug Thompson, the man on the mound in 1997 when the Tigers went back-to-back at Omaha, joining us. And Doug, did you notice that right away? Lewis Coleman flinging the glove?
I did. I knew exactly what Lewis Coleman, what was running through his mind at that precise moment in time, and I tell you what, it was awfully reminiscent.
Why does an LSU player learn to do things that are so similar in history to some of the other players?
Well, it's simple because they've seen it before in the past. Coach Maneri allowed his players this year to watch all the past moments from the previous LSU great teams. For instance, I heard so many of those guys talking about seeing Ryan Terrio slide into home plate and throw his helmet up in the air the same way that Armando Rios did in an earlier College World Series. It's the visualization that Coach Bertman was so huge on throughout my career, and all the other guys that he was that were fortunate enough to play for him truly came to pass this year yet again. When Coach Maneri let those players study all those videos, those players really saw themselves succeeding the way that their predecessors did before them.
In addition to being one of the legends of LSU baseball, you've had the chance firsthand on some of the broadcasts to see the transition, Skip Bertman's years and championships, and now Paul Maneri.
Well, first of all, Coach Maneri, I was so happy to see the relief on his face when he finally, that last pitch was made. It was the big monkey was off his back to win a national championship. He's a class guy on and off the field. The similarities are easy. Great coaching are two things that I saw on all the other teams. Obviously, Coach Bertman, Coach Maneri.
Finally, Doug, you told me that you spoke with some of the seniors of this year's championship team. Could you tell the viewers what they had to say to you about finally reaching the pinnacle as their careers came to an end?
I've talked to several of the players that were a member of this year's team, and they were all thrilled to be finally a part of the fraternity I guess, past players that have won a national championship at LSU. These guys made us all proud, made everybody in the state of Louisiana proud. It's such a great thing now that LSU has continued the tradition of such a strong baseball program.
Doug, thanks for joining us. When we come back, we're going to hear from some of those seniors and some of the stars that brought home the championship in 2009.
Welcome back to our 9 Sports Special, the Kings of Omaha. We're joining you in the LSU locker room, and as we look around, this locker belonged to Derek Elenihi, this one to Chris McGee. Those two are seniors. Their lockers have been cleaned out, just like they cleaned up in Omaha. What a way to go out.
That's right, Jacques. Actually, during their time here, those seniors saw the lowest of lows for 2 years. While they were here, the Tigers didn't even make the NCAA postseason, but they've since gotten back on track, went to Omaha last season, and this year took it all.
No words can explain it. It's the greatest moments what you live for as a kid. The national championship. I really can't explain. You gotta give me some days to figure it out. So it's so surreal right now. I mean, to be here at the College World Series, to dogpile at the end like that, there is no better way than to go out just like that.
To be with these guys and to have this feat, just win a national championship is it's unbelievable.
Who's the champ?
We the champs. I mean, we said it all along, and my 4 years here, we've gone through some ups and downs, but what better way to end it than a national championship and set the bar high for the next guys that come in.
We watched videos on all them guys winning national championships, and now we're going to be on those videos, and the next class comes in is going to see us and our whole season and our whole story, and it's just unbelievable,
This is actually championship number 2 for 2 guys on the team, Chad Jones and Jarrett Mitchell. They play baseball in the spring and football in the fall.
You're on top of the world in both of them. I mean, what other feeling do you want?
How does it feel to be a national champion in 2 different sports?
Best feeling right now, only a few people did it, so I just go down in history books, so me and Jared worked hard for this, football and baseball, so it's a great feeling.
I'm awful proud of him. The experience that a 2-sport athlete gets here, win a national championship in 2 sports, compete at the highest level, that experience is as good as there is in any college at any place in America.
Well, Jacques, it may take a little convincing, but if I could put all of their rings together, I could fill my entire left hand.
You could, and Coach Miles and Jones will be back on the gridiron this fall to try to add to that jewelry collection.
That's right.
Still to come on the Kings of Omaha, we'll talk to the hero of the 1996 championship team, Warren Morris.
LSU wins the College World Series on a home run by Morris.
You're watching WAFB's 9 Sports Special, Kings of Omaha. Now here's Steve Schneider.
One of the real trademarks of the 2009 Tigers championship team, all the left-handed bats in the lineup, led by Blake Dean and Ryan Schimpf, and of course, College World Series MVP Jared Mitchell. And joining us now, one of the greatest, if not the greatest, lefty of all time in LSU baseball history, Todd Walker, who's up in Shreveport. Of course, he was the most outstanding player for the '93 Tiger championship team. Todd, can you imagine if you had played in a lineup with 7 or 8 lefties in the lineup at the same time?
It would have been difficult. Hitting left-handed pitching in college is extremely difficult because you didn't face a whole lot of tough lefties in high school. And when you get to college, it's just a brand new thing for you. You have to kind of develop and learn that.
Todd, you're in the Hall of Fame along with your former head coach, Skip Bertman, who built this dynasty at LSU, and now watching as it moves to a new head coach. Paul Maneri had to be brought in after Skip replaced Smoke Laval. What do you think of the job that he's done and this team he put together that went all the way to the title this year?
Well, what he's done to this point speaks for itself, obviously. But, in year one, I was getting a lot of questions about what I thought about Paul Maneri, and all I could ever say was I thought he was a great person. You never know how they are as a coach until they do what he just did. And for him to pull that off in his whatever year it is for him, 2nd or 3rd year, that's pretty remarkable. And I think even Skip Bertman would tell you that. Skip built this program from where he started to where it is now. But ultimately, for Paul Maneri to come in here from Notre Dame, having a little bit of experience, but not much, and to do what they did in the College World Series this year was pretty incredible.
Todd, before we let you go, you had a great major league career But I'm wondering, are you jealous of these young guys who are playing in this brand new Alex Box Stadium, the wonderful facility, and obviously the perks that it offers college baseball players of our time?
That's actually a good question, but you know what? You're only aware of what you are at the time. And when I came to LSU, I was playing in front of 10,000 people, which coming from high school, that was incredible to me. You had your names on the back of your jerseys. You had people that wanted your autograph. For me, that's all I'd ever wanted. And so I couldn't even dream of having anything better when I was there and back in 1992. So what they have now is a step up. And obviously, if you knew then what you know now, it would make you a little jealous. But, you know, under the circumstances, I'm happy. They've obviously earned it. By winning the whole thing this year. I can't imagine how they're going to be good for the next 20 years, you know, under those circumstances. They've got one of the nicest stadiums in the country, the best team in the country, one of the best head coaches in the country. They've got it rolling right now.
All right, Todd, we appreciate your time. Always great to talk to you. When we come back, we'll check out some LSU tailgating in Omaha. Always a part of the Tigers championship when they go to Rosenblatt Stadium.
It's almost surreal. You almost can't even believe it's true. And then you drive up to Rosenblatt Stadium and you see all the purple and gold out there waiting. I think half of Baton Rouge is here. Just so overwhelming. The heart, it touches your heart that people care about what you're doing so much.
Welcome back, everybody. Omaha has earned the reputation of being called Baton Rouge North. Now, in the 2 weeks I spent there, I'd have to agree. Nearly everywhere I went, I was surrounded by Tiger fans.
Here we go, Tigers! Here we go!
For LSU Tiger fans, the commitment when it comes to following the purple and gold is comparable to that of marriage. Think about it.
Thomas LeBlanc, Rick Barrios.
Take you
LSU
to be my team.
Tigers!
To have and to hold.
Thanks. I'll see you later. Have a good day.
From this day forward,
Half of Baton Rouge is here. Just so overwhelming.
We started at 7 o'clock this morning and it'll go on until game time.
for better or for worse.
Tigers might not win every game, but we don't never lose a tailgate, I tell you what, huh?
In extreme heat and humidity. Who's responsible for bringing the heat?
I don't know. It's hotter here than it is at home.
How much weight do you think I'd lose if I stood here for the next 3 hours?
About 20 pounds.
I mean, who needs to go for a run when you can cook? Full of energy or still recovering.
Everybody's dead from yesterday. We're still hurting.
Under the sun and in the rain.
Well, the way it rained was, it shouldn't have never done that.
This weather is so miserable. Everyone's feet are all dirty. It's just gross out here.
Whether on time or running a little late.
Nothing wrong with the rain. More tailgate time for the Tigers. We don't mind. We don't mind.
To keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
We know crawfish, too.
Have y'all argued out if everything really is bigger in Texas?
No, we hadn't even gotten that far.
Friendly trash talking?
Not too much. We've made lifelong friends between the two of us.
To cheer for, but more importantly, cook for. You got stuck with the hottest job out here.
Well, it's just a tradition that we do every year. We started in '86.
Dogs, the jambalaya are out. Now we're going after the deer sausage.
Brought straight from Louisiana.
Of course, only the best.
To love and to cherish.
It's hot and spicy, just like the LSU baseball team.
From this day forward.
It's all worth it.
Until death or the ultimate victory.
Gonna be one big party if LSU pulls us off tonight.
Do us part.
Certainly some good stuff.
That's right, Jacques. Well, still to come, the same man has welcomed the Tigers to Omaha, dating all the way back to 1996. We'll introduce you to Big Jim.
Plus, we'll visit with the LSU freshman that has ice water running through his veins. Matty Ice, Matty Ott, coming up.
Matty Ott is like a lot of the freshmen we've had around here, that he just came in right from the first day and you just knew he had something about him that was going to allow him to do it right away.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Kings of Omaha, joined now by Matty Ott. Matty, you've earned the nickname of Matty Ice, so I guess the first thing we need to know is it true there's ice water running through those veins?
Oh, I wouldn't say that. I mean, I go out there every day and just do the job that I'm told to do and, you know, try to get the job done.
Obviously, the nickname came from your ability to do well in those high-pressure situations. When did Coach come to you and say that he was going to have you be a closer, and did you ever expect, I guess, to be as dominant as you were?
Well, I mean, he came to me when he recruited me. He told me you're gonna get time in mid-relief, and in the first couple of games of the season, I got time in mid-relief. You know, we had a meeting, and Coach kind of just told us one day. He told us in front of the whole team. He said, you know, Matt, we're going to try Matty at closer, and
he asked me if I would accept that role, and I told him I would, and it's just kind of been downhill ever since.
Well, you came in, you accepted that role, and then you went on to break a save record that had been there for almost 2 decades. So what is that like, breaking Rick Green's record?
Yeah, we talked about it, a few times. Like me and Nolan would talk about it because we're locker buddies, and he's like, how many saves you got? He'd always ask me, and we all knew that it was 14, and then that was the record. But it just when it got toward the end of the season, you had to win those games, and it was good that I could save them, and we'd win the games and get the wins to go on in the postseason.
And I understand that there has been some interaction between you and Rick Green. Tell me about that.
We just kind of had a little friendly conversation about the records, and he asked me, I think you have 8 saves now, and he said he'd like to see it be broken because it's been held there for 18 years, and he wants to be there when I break the record.
All right. Well, thank you, Maddie, and good luck to you. Well, from the closer of the now back to the closer of the past, Steve, I'm going to send it back to you and Rick Green.
Joining us now, a great closer in his own right and a cover boy all over Baton Rouge, restaurants and homes, because he was on the mound the first time the Tigers won the national championship. Rick Green, relieving ace for the Tigers that first year, and also the all-time saves leader until this year when Matty Ott got his record. Rick, what did you think of all this? Skip Bertman obviously had his share of championships, but Paul Maneri's team getting LSU's program back to where you guys first put it.
Well, Steve, I paid attention to the team all year and rooted them on from afar, and of course went to a few games and just saw a lot of similarities in this team that we had in '91 with some dominant starting pitching and maybe a guy in the bullpen that knew how to throw a little bit. They had hitting from top to bottom 1 through 9, and just knew towards the middle of the year that this team had a little bit of what it took to get there. Some freshmen, some upperclassmen that had been there before, and they had been to Omaha last year. So I was rooting for them, and I had a good feeling about them.
Now, what went through your mind when you saw Matty Ott out there closing these games and finishing off these victories for LSU? Did it bring you back to your days as a LSU Tiger?
A little bit. I got into contact with him around the 9th or 10th save and told him I was rooting for him, which, I think he was taken aback a little bit by that. But it's the double-edged sword that if he's getting saves, that means LSU's winning. So, who wouldn't be, rooting for that? And records are made to be broken. It stood for 18-plus years or whatever it was. And, you look back, and Matty was 1 year old when I broke that record. So I was extremely happy for him. And, I still have the all-time record. So if he wants to break that, he's got a few more years to do it.
Now, as you said, a lot of similarities between these teams over the years and the 91 team and, of course, the 2009 team. But unlike both of you guys where you grabbed the ball in the 8th or 9th inning and finished the game, Matty Ott hasn't reached your level in terms of grabbing the microphone on the trip to the zoo. Both of these teams made trips to the Omaha Zoo, and you were way out in front as far as that goes.
We had an unofficial mascot that year of the llama, and it was just a nasty, spitting animal that we kind of took in as our own, and that's the way we kind of played with some of the guys on the team like Tookie Johnson and Telechia, and we just scrapped real hard and played, to the best of our ability. And when I grabbed the microphone, I guess it came a little natural and had a lot of fun with it.
Rick, we appreciate you joining us, and congratulations on all those years of starting something great that has continued here, LSU Kings of Omaha.
Coming up.
Suddenly it happened.
Suddenly it happened.
Suddenly. Nick Pontiff, better baseball player than singer. Coming up, the touching story on how he continued his brother's legacy while making one of his own.
It wasn't easy. There was a lot of hard times. There was a lot of hard times.
I don't know. Someone asked me that question yesterday. Do you know if there's 2 boys that ever won a national championship in baseball? I said, I don't know, but I know the Pontiffs are.
You dream about this as a kid to get here, and we all had a special part of this team. It was a total team effort.
Welcome back to our 9-Sports special, the Kings of Omaha. In the year 2000, the late Wally Pontiff Jr. was a freshman on an LSU team, and he was a huge part of that Tiger team that won it all in Omaha. 9 years later, his younger brother, Nick Pontiff, was also part of an LSU team that won the national championship. Wally Pontiff, Nick Pontiff, forever linked to each other and the history of LSU baseball.
But it's little God winks here and there that you know he's around. Little times you look at the clock and you see it's 231 or stuff like that.
I definitely believe that, no doubt, that how Wally is so proud of his brother.
This is actually a picture that one of our friends did. This is just a picture of Wally when he played and a picture of me when I played, and he superimposed the two.
I wanted Nick to be Nick and Wally to be Wally, and you know, and I think both of them had their own little way of doing different things. I didn't want favoritism. Smoke and Turtle decided that Wally, he's going to give Nick a shot. I told them if he's not good enough, cut him.
Of course, I knew it was going to be hard because, you know, I think people were going to put me in the shadow of Wally. One of the biggest things I had to do was make people know that I'm not Wally Pontiff, I'm Nick Pontiff.
I give him credit because he never gave up and he never stopped believing. It's a lot easier, Jacques, to walk away and leave and go somewhere else. But you got to do the tough things.
If it wasn't hard, I don't know. It wouldn't be worth it, right? Yeah. It's everything that you watch your heroes do, is what you watch Warren Morris do. It's something that you dream about. Buzzy and I were speaking about this in the locker room. You know, we packed up all our stuff 2 days ago, and we all said our goodbyes to one another, and, you know, we were all crying. He looked me in the eyes and he goes, you know, I wouldn't trade this for anything in the world. He goes, we might not have played too much, he said, but we got memories to last for a lifetime.
When Wally wanted, he was a freshman. Nick wanted, he was a senior. So we had bookends for us to have two sons that play in Omaha and win national championships. I wish someone could feel what we feel.
And the Pontiff family certainly is a class act all the way around. Now, for more on Wally Pontiff Jr. and the 2000 National Championship team, let's throw it back to Steve Schneider in the studio.
Of course, the 2000 championship team did feature Wally Pontiff, but it also featured a lot of other great stars. Early in the program, we talked about Ryan Theriot scoring the winning run, and the guy who drove him in. Joining us now, Brad Cressy. Brad, when you watch the current LSU team bringing home the championship, having the celebration at the new box, what goes through your mind in terms of the end of your LSU career?
It brings back a lot of memories. I tell you what, I guess the most fond memory I have, remembering back to the 2000 year, was just pulling up to Rosenblatt Stadium, getting there, and Big Jim, the bus driver, turn on that music, all the players dancing, having a good time, and to look out and see 1,000 fans waiting for us to get out the bus, just to show up and play. That's truly memories you'll never forget.
That story with Big Jim is coming up a little bit later in the show. The catcher on this year's team, Micah Gibbs, several times Paul Maneri considered him to be the MVP on a team that's loaded with talent.
Micah Gibbs, he's probably the best defensive catcher I've seen at LSU. I mean, he does it all back there. He's got a strong arm. He handles the pitching staff well, blocks the ball very well, and he's a hard worker. I met him in the past. You know, he keeps improving on his hitting, and I like him back there for the years to come.
The fact that LSU's program could attract players from all over the country when you were playing, that you would come all the way to Baton Rouge, Louisiana to play your college baseball. Paul Maneri is known as a recruiter much on the same level as Skip Bertman was. Do you see that coming back to LSU baseball now?
I hope we have enough homegrown talent here in Baton Rouge to fill up the roster here at LSU, and we don't have to go out to the likes of California, New Jersey, or Florida to get our talent.
When we come back on Kings of Omaha, we will talk to one of the most famous homegrown talents for LSU baseball, Warren Morris. Stay right there.
The Skip Bertman years were certainly the golden years for LSU, and he proved to be just the coach to turn the baseball program around. Bertman brought 5 World Series championships, 7 SEC championships, 6 SEC tournament titles, and 9 50-win seasons back home to LSU. WAFB's 9 Sports Special, Kings of Omaha. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, everybody. The Tigers have just won the school's 6th national championship. They can win 96 championships and not have the finish that we had in 1996. Joining us now from Alexandria is Warren Morris, the man of the hour and 50th anniversary of the College World Series, hitting that home run. Warren, thanks for joining us. And when you watch the Tigers win a championship again this year, what kind of memories come back for you as a Tiger?
Oh, just enjoyed being a part of it. You know, I'm a fan now, but always a Tiger. Still remember going around those bases in Omaha. Hasn't changed a bit. The Tiger fans are still filling up the entire place. So it was a fun thing to watch, and I know it was a fun event for all of those who were there. DJ LeMahieu saved the day for LSU in the first game of this series. What did you think of the guys' effort this year, their clutch play, and what perhaps did it remind you of in terms of the team you played on and the championship you guys won? Well, it was very similar. You know, they just had that belief, kind of like Coach Berkman instilled in us, in the fact that regardless of the circumstances or the situation, you know, you're never really out of the game. You can always do something to come back. And, you know, I mean, no better example than that. DJ LeMahieu, 2 outs, bottom of the 9th, and, you know, it looked bleak, but he was able to come through with a big hit. And I think everybody felt like once we got back into extra innings, we were going to come through and win, and just rode that momentum into, you know, the championship game and got the great start and kept adding on from there.
Warren, thank you for joining us on the show here. Take care of yourself. And we now go to Aaron Cofield with the unlikely part of LSU's championship pieces in Omaha.
Steve, the Tigers have now been to Omaha 15 times. Now, over those years, the players have changed. The coaches have changed, and the championship series format has changed. Now, ever since 1996, that championship season you just talked about, one thing has remained the same. Their bus driver, Big Jim.
What's up, Big Jim? How we doing today? Oh, we doing just fine.
Good. 12 years ago, Big Jim Williams received a routine phone call from his dispatcher.
Would you mind picking up this team and take them to the hotel? I said, I don't care.
And so off he went to pick up the Fighting Tigers of LSU.
I had a radio station on local, and they said almost all together, get that white boy music off there. And I'm thinking, damn, there ain't no black guys on this team. You know, what's with them? I said, well, what do you want to hear? We know you got something that you listen to.
Big Jim delivered. Come on, Big Jim, let me see you dance. A song by Dad's band called Keep It Live.
Every year they come up here, they want to hear this song.
When the beats get too loud, Big Jim's earplugs come out. As for Coach Maneri,
put it on, he starts dancing up and down the aisle. I said, my goodness.
Big Jim remembers the 90s, like the time he put the speakers outside the bus.
And when we pulled in there, they come off the bus dancing.
He remembers 2000, when he showed up at work and saw a brand new purple and gold bus on the lot. He was told the bus was unavailable. To him, that answer was unacceptable.
I said, you let me have that bus. Monday, I will drive it up to Des Moines for free. And I'll even catch a Greyhound back. So next day, I come out to the hotel, and these guys went crazy.
The Tigers won the title that year, and 6 months later, called Big Jim, asking for his ring size.
I said, look, I don't deserve that ring. He said, you don't understand, Jim. They look forward to coming up there just to meet you and hear your music, so you're a morale booster.
He'll now remember 2009, the year the Tigers returned to Omaha and won the national title on his birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Yeah.
I mean, I want to give you a big kiss, Jim.
No.
Do that. I love you, big man.
Big Jim says all the other bus drivers were jealous of his new hardware. Well, still to come on the Kings of Omaha, more on the Maneri dynasty. We'll hear from the coach's father when we return.
Every memory I have about my childhood was being in the dugout with him. And that was the reason I wanted to go into coaching. I not only had a wonderful father who taught me an awful lot of life lessons, as most fathers would do for their children. He taught me a lot about the profession of coaching and about the sport of baseball.
Welcome back to our 9 Sports Special, The Kings of Omaha. LSU head coach Paul Maneri was nice enough to have us at his home as we visited with the coach and the other coach, his father, Demi. It perhaps was the most emotional sight of the tournament. Paul Mainieri embracing his father just moments after the Tigers won it all.
I just wanted to give him that gift. You just never know when you're going to have an opportunity or when he's going to be healthy enough to be there. And, you know, he was there.
But Paul was the type of kid that had a great compassion for people at a very young age. He begged my wife to go to his first game. He says, when can I go to the dugout? He interpreted the dugout as a dugout because it was in the ground.
In a way, the circle was complete. The younger Mainieri leaving LSU as a player in the late 70s to suit up for his father at Miami-Dade Community College.
Yeah, it's almost like a storybook deal, you know. When he was here at LSU, frankly, I thought he should have stayed. But he had a burning desire to play for me.
The lessons that I learned from him many years ago are still the lessons I apply today.
Young Mainieri may have brought his bat and glove to South Beach, but one of the staples of the time was left behind.
I guess that was the thing, but I can't remember you having signboards when I had them. You know, I think we got rid of those real fast.
45 years after Demi captured a junior college national title, the Mainieri family is back on top again.
He's actually a workaholic. Things like that just don't happen, and Paul and his staff worked very hard.
Well, it was certainly fun to visit with the two Coach Mainieris, and we'd like to thank Paul Mainieri for having us at his home.
Certainly a legacy there. Well, Steve, that's going to do it from here at Alex Box Stadium, so we're going to send it back to you.
Well, that's going to do it for our 9 Sports Special, Kings of Omaha. For Jacques Doucet and Aaron Cofield, I'm Steve Schneider, thanking you for joining us and saying congratulations to LSU, the national champions of college baseball again.